Hey guys, today Richard and we're going to be talking about looping in Copilot pages with agents. And so if you don't know, I'm Chris Hinch, Microsoft MVP for M365 Copilot. We're here at Comms vNext. Richard and I have been having some fun talking with some people today. Both of us enjoy Loop, right? It's one of our our favorite topics to talk about. So Richard, I'll let you introduce yourself, man.
Yeah, hi, Richard Toland, Principal Solution Architect. I am loving Loop. Lately, I'm hoping I can find a cert track so I can start teaching on that too.
Yeah.
I just recently got my MCT so I can teach in the Power Platform, and I'll be moving into office productivity stuff, I think, when it comes back to the MCT program too. So
Awesome, love it.
yeah,
So talking about Loop, let's just dive in. So Loop is one of those things that kind of fell under the radar in my opinion, because when it was announced, they did a good launch on it, but then Copilot came right after and it took all the steam, right? So
yeah.
Tell me your experience that you've had with Loop, what Loop is, because people might not know what Loop is. I do. I know we both do, but what's your opinion on it?
Yeah, I think Loop is it's next level collaboration, right? It's meeting, it's meeting team members where they're at instead of driving them into a single platform or a single tool to come and collaborate. In the variability of what Loop offers in the component controls is growing really fast. Like that list of all the different Loop elements or components that you can create is getting bigger all the time, and I think that is bringing power into where the touch and the reach of where they're at, right? It's not just in Loop. It's in Teams. It's in Whiteboard, as we demoed this morning in one of the sessions. It's everywhere, and you can get that real-time collaboration online with everybody.
Yeah, the one thing that you said that stood out is in your flow of work. So that's how I tell people as well. What people don't realize what that means. So it used to be when you would collaborate, we'll pick on PowerPoint, right? You would share a PowerPoint, and so you would have to be in PowerPoint. You'd have to remember the link for PowerPoint. Like, where did they share this with me? It was cool, but it was complicated, right?
Yeah.
If you didn't have it saved in the right location. But let's talk about in the flow of work. So now I'll simplify it, right? You create a component or a workspace, either one, and you're talking about in your flow of work. So I'm a Teams guy. I think you are as well. But you can put that component in Outlook. You can put it in Teams. You can put it in a lot of different applications.
Yeah.
And you can just work. You don't have to where was that link, right?
Right.
So I think that's where people are not understanding how powerful and time saving because of the flow of work.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it gets all the benefits, all the features, and benefits of security on top of it, right? Like you're getting Purview looped into it with loops. I think the security piece needs a little more maturity as it's going to grow, but that security is following it everywhere, right? So if I dropped a loop into Outlook, like you say, and an email finds its way to somebody that can't see that loop, they're not going to see that part, and that's a powerful thing too, right? Because how often have we pasted a table of data into an email and the wrong person got it, right? Now the security is coming with it. And all that real-time update, real-time collaboration is right there in the email.
Yeah, and so you mentioned Purview. So I did hear that retention labels are now on Loop as well. So that's kind of a newer thing.
Nice.
It was announced. I remember seeing on one of the blogs I read last month, but retention labels are actually there now. So if that's something that people are interested in, hey, it's there, right?
Yeah.
So, the evolution. So Microsoft is actually evolving Loop.
Right.
It's known as Pages, right? Copilot Pages. I don't know if you've played with Pages. I'm pretty sure you have. I play with Copilot Pages all the time. I think they're amazing.
Yeah.
So you want to explain what Copilot Pages actually is today?
Yeah, sure. So Copilot Pages brings the fluid UI into wrappable components that you can then redistribute. And in addition, I want to say it's not limited just to the Copilot pages. We have pages in Workspace also, but the page notion it's the portability of what you're putting in there. The beauty of Copilot, right, is that you're getting that real-time collaboration in the page and getting all the generative power that's coming with Copilot to now embed and distribute to the rest of your team. What we saw in one of the sessions was the Loop workspace pages is kind of top to bottom vertical organization of your thoughts, your components as you're bringing them in. And then the entire page itself can now wrap as a component and redistribute. And you can bring it into Copilot pages and then interact with it in Copilot pages. So that's a really powerful tool to now have that generative capability, all the smarts, all the heavy lifting of, even starter pack, right? Hey, Copilot, I'm drawing a blank. It's a white sheet of paper, blank sheet, right?
Oh, yeah.
Get me started. Like, let's move. And that speed of iteration, the speed of ideation that's coming with the agent infusion there is really powerful. It's really fast.
Yeah, so kind of coming on top of that, brainstorming now, it completely changes because you can have a thought and you have a blank paper or you have a blank page in this instance, and you're having this idea, but it's not mature enough to send out to the team, or you're kind of embarrassed, so to speak, right? It's like, I don't have this baked enough. Let me throw this in Copilot, and then if you like the answer, you don't have to copy paste, right? There's no more copy pasta. It's just like move to pages, and it moves into pages. And they just released 2. You can actually start formatting it in pages. So if you want to, before you share it out, because you want people to read it, you can bold things, you can underline things, you can impact things. So they're really doing some things for this flow of work, collaborations. Like if Chris bolded something, maybe I need to pay attention to that, right? But to take your idea and then how AI, Copilot, kind of enhance that idea, it's now this more of a feeling where your brainstorming is accelerated.
Yeah.
Which means you're getting to the finished product accelerated.
Right.
And my opinion, the coolest thing on Pages is it comes with the included features of Copilot, right? It's in the Entra-enabled Copilot, which, that's not the $30 SKU.
Right.
That's if you got Copilot because you have an Entra-enabled ID, you get Pages.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Yeah, extremely.
Super powered.
And now you only get the web portion of it. Let's be clear on that, right? So they only get the web portion of Copilot Pages. If you want to start enabling, bringing in documents, right?
Yeah.
You want to say, oh, this was a great brainstorm idea that we had, and I want to apply it to the sales proposal as an example, and here's the sales proposal. You can't do that unless you have the $30 SKU.
Right.
But just using it that way alone, if you think about what the $30 SKU is, some people think that's a lot of money. Just think, are you saving at least an hour a day for that?
Right.
If you're saving an hour for a day because you're using work mode with Pages, that alone is paying for it, right? So if you think about it, $30 is a lot, but I'm saving an hour, even an hour a week.
Yeah.
You're paying for it because you're that much ahead.
Right. Especially at, some of us are a little higher rates than others, and man, if $30 is chump change if you save an hour, your time or my time, right? Like a consultant's time, if they can come in and ideate faster, work faster, that's just saving money all over the place.
Oh, 100%. And like I said, if you put it in work mode and you're actually starting to drive documents, producible documents. It's not a brainstorm document. It's something that is going to turn into something that you deliver to someone or something that whether it's a presentation, whether it's a salesperson, whether it's your manager, you're producing a document. It's no longer a brainstorm, and you got to it so much quicker.
Talk to me about like a little less than documents, but where do you see agents going with in that $30 SKU? How do you see the evolution of agents coming around?
In the $30 SKU, I think we're just scratching the surface of what agents can do, because I don't think people understand how powerful it can be, because it's still new. And I'm not trying to discount what people are doing. Like, I think there's some really cool agents that have been put out there, but being able to automate some repeatable tasks or repeatable workflows that are more complex. Like, you always start out with simple things, but now people are starting to realize, oh, if I can do that, what about this? And then, okay, if that, then what about, it's the iterative approach to that. So I think this is not to scare people, but I think agents are going to be extremely complex. And it's basically taking the low code, no code and translating agents into, hey, do this for me, and explaining it versus even knowing, not that low code, no code's hard. I'm not saying that Power Pages or Power Platform is a difficult thing. You do need to know what you're doing. It's not like anybody can jump into it, but now you can take, I need you to do X.
Right.
And then that's how you're programming the agent to be. And we'll use the sales proposal again as an example. Sure. You can start with agents. You can create folder structures, and here's the resources that I want to build on top of this. And And you can start putting a lot of things in there. Instead of you going to research it, now you can build something with an agent a lot quicker and a lot more polished.
Nice.
So, like I said, I think it's
Yeah.
this iterative approach. I don't think we've even scratched the surface on what agents
Yeah. It's that power. It's that polish. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It's the right direction. That's cool, man.
and so they released pay-as-you-go Copilot.
Mm-hmm.
And people, I don't think they understand what that means. Are you up to speed on how this is?
No, not
Okay.
fully.
So there's this concept that if you had Copilot license, then you got agents. But we understand that agents can be very, very powerful, but is everybody going to use it? Or are they going to use it all the time, or is it going to be onesie twosies? Is it worth a $30 SKU for somebody that's only going to use it once or twice a month?
Mm-hmm.
Not really.
Right.
So they've introduced this idea of if you use an agent, you can go into this pay-as-you-go model. So for every message or transaction, you can pay pennies.
Nice.
And if you're only using it 2-3 times a month, do you need the $30 SKU? Maybe not.
Right.
Now you get so much more power with the $30 SKU. I'm not trying to discount
Sure.
that the $30 SKU, the Copilot 365 license, I keep calling it what everybody knows it as is the $30 SKU. But I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying if you have a need inside your organization where, it could be a frontline worker, it can be just a worker that only has a very specific job, but you figured out an agent to make them more effective.
Right.
And they're going to use it once a day.
Sure.
So there's 28 work days in a month average. Okay, that's a lot cheaper than, because you're pennies, right? And so you can get a lot more out of that. So that's a way for people to look at. But I don't want people to be scared of the Azure pay-as-you-go, right? Because that was scary when it first came out. It's like, oh, how am I consuming, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring this up specifically because I don't feel like the pay-as-you-go agents is going to be as scary as the Azure pay-as-you-go.
Sure. Well, and as you see UTIL calculating on top of that, or we can start getting better reporting out of utilization. That's going to be nice to see all of that come to fruition, right? Because the maturity model for agentic adoption is going to be really based on it is usage.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like we're not going to build agents and then they don't get used.
Right.
Or maybe we should retire an agent that's not being used. As that reporting comes to fruition, it'll be really interesting to see how the agents evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Like we started with a small one, then it got bigger, and then it got more complex, then it runs a little longer, used by more people. I'm really curious to see how that comes to bear.
Yeah, and there is the dashboard, so you can see which agents are being used and which ones are not. So you can tell if somebody created one, and I don't want to say it was a bust, but maybe they rewrote it, and now you just have one sitting out there, and so you can clean those up now from an IT admin perspective.
Cool.
So there is the dashboard. You can see which ones are being used or which ones are not being used. So there's a lot of controls that you can do, and you can also put who can use them. So if you're scared of the Azure PayGo model with the Copilot, you can actually have user controls on who can use the PayGo models as well, so you can put them in user groups. So there's a lot of things coming, right? So you got Loop that build on pages, that builds on agents. So if you haven't used any of this technology, I highly encourage people to start with Loop, because that's going to be the base.
Yeah.
You don't want to just jump into agents. Like, understand what Loop can do, because everything in the behind the scenes, it's actually a .loop file, right? So,
Right.
I mean, that's why we started there, right? Because it's all a .loop.
Yep. And now the agents are all going to be agent files, right?
Yep.
Like dot agent files. I love the simplicity of it all, and I'm looking forward to a little better with Loop specifically, a little better permission management or organization around permissions on that as that evolves. The Loop workspace itself. I look at the competitive market in other workspaces, right? The Loop workspace and in other workspaces that are out there and coming. And it's interesting to see the technology being pushed or driven in a certain direction. I think that feeds back to what you're saying about Loop becoming kind of white noise as Copilot dropped, because the market pressure was there, right, for Microsoft to release. Like, we need an agentic framework. We need intelligent Copilot-ish agent. Let's push forward and set this one aside for a minute. It's still going. It's still evolving, but I think it slowed down the curve for them a lot. And as we see Loop come back now, because a lot more customers are using it like crazy, it's wildfire. It's starting to get a little bit more evolution.
Yep.
It's starting to get some more power, more meat in the bones. And the roadmap is, I think, pretty clear. It's short roadmap for now.
Yeah.
There haven't been a ton of feature requests that are, not daunting for the team, I think. And the roadmap is slowly getting bigger and better.
Yeah.
So yeah, Loop is definitely there. It's not going away.
No. I mean, I'm being an MVP. I am privileged to some of the NDA, and I can say the public roadmap versus what they told us. There are some exciting things coming for Loop.
Cool.
Can't talk about what they are, but
Yeah.
I do want to urge people, if you haven't started using Loop, you should,
Yeah.
because the roadmap's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and let's talk about real quick the licensure on that too. I think the question came up today in our session. The business standard's going to have Loop included
Correct.
in it, and then the M365 E3 or bigger
Yep.
will also have it included.
That is correct.
Yeah, not the Office 365.
No, I don't think. No,
It's not
you
included.
got to have the M's or the standard premiums.
Yeah.
Got to have those. But I mean, those are the average SKUs that are out there. Those are widely used SKUs. I don't think you can actually license Loop by itself currently.
No.
So if you do need Loop, you're right. You're going to need one of those licenses.
Yeah, maybe with the power or the pressure of Loop as it gets bigger, then they'll a la carte it too.
Yeah,
Bring it
maybe.
in separate. We'll see. We'll see. I do feel like the deep integration and especially external accessibility with being able to use Loop to talk with or collaborate with your guests and Copilot together is, and Purview, right, for information sensitivity and bringing all that together is going to add all of that pressure. Like it's going to be, dude, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
I need this a la carte for my F SKUs that are out there that it's not capable with right now. So,
Yeah, and if you think about kind of flipping back to agents with Loop, right? So if you think of how the facilitator agent is an example, which is a fantastic agent. That's one of my favorite ones, and it's not even GA, it's still just preview. But the way how the meeting notes in facilitator agent, they're actually stored as a .loop, right? So to your point, Loop's not going away. Like they're putting Loop more and more into what Copilot is doing. I'm trying my best not to to say what's coming.
but I mean, the writing's on the wall a little bit
Yeah.
too. Like you see it. It's a deep investment in the technology.
Yeah.
Deep reuse of the fluid framework, littered everywhere. That's all over, and it's exciting to see and to think about what could be coming. Yeah.
And what some people know is coming. Yeah, so.
'Tis the season.
Yeah, there you go.
Secret season.
So this has been fun. I enjoyed the
Yeah.
conversation today. If you guys want to know more about Loop, reach out to Richard or myself. Both of us love this product. We like diving into it and explaining how it can actually benefit you. If you want to talk about pages or agents, we both can do that as well. So Richard, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for having this conversation with me. Hope it was fun for you as well.
This is great, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
All right,
Thank you.
cool. Yep.
See ya.